Well, hey there, Careblazer. Do you have children? Do you have a parent? If so, then you may very well be part of the sandwich caregiver generation. This is when somebody is caring for their children and at the same time caring for an aging parent. And this group, called sandwich caregivers, is growing every day. According to the US Census Bureau, between the years of 2024 and 2030, 10,000 adults will turn over the age of 65 every single day. And among Americans in their 40s, over half, 54%, are currently sandwiched between an aging parent and their own children, making them the age group that's most likely to find themselves being a sandwich caregiver. And by the time these adults are in their 50s, over 59% of them have at least helped their aging parent financially. So I'm recording this video right now because about a week ago from today, I was giving a talk at the Dementia Friendly Tempe annual Dementia Summit. And after my presentation, a woman came up to me and she asked specifically, what can I do? I'm a sandwich caregiver. Do you have any resources for me? She felt like a lot of the resources that were out there were geared primarily toward caregivers who are caring for a spouse or a partner. And she was looking for particular tips for her, a young woman married with young kids, caring for a parent with dementia. So this video is specifically for you, Eileen. I hope you see it. Now, while all types of caregiving come with stressors, there are some unique stressors that sandwich caregivers face. Number one, dual responsibilities. Basically, sandwich caregivers are juggling caring for their children and caring for their aging parents. Number two, financial strain. Sandwich caregivers are twice as likely to report financial difficulties and strain due to caregiving expenses compared to non-sandwich caregivers. Number three, and this is a big one, sandwich caregivers tend to still be in the workforce. That means they not only have the demands of raising children, caring for aging parents, but they're also trying to manage the demands of their job. This often means they have to reduce the hours that they're working, take more time, like leave time away from work to care for their parents, sometimes passing up on promotions because they know they're not going to be able to fulfill that increased responsibility. Unfortunately, sometimes getting passed for promotions that they are excellent candidates for because their work field knows about their challenges that they're dealing with at home. And sometimes sandwich caregivers find themselves thinking about leaving the workforce early or actually leaving the workforce early. We are personally have several members inside of our Care Collective program who are facing this very challenge right now of making the decision to leave their job or to stay. No doubt, being a sandwich caregiver can negatively impact career progression. Number four, sandwich caregivers tend to experience higher levels of emotional strain. They are more prone to burnout, anxiety, and depression compared to non-sandwich caregivers. And number five would be time constraints. Sandwich caregivers have to balance work, children, elder care, often sacrificing a lot of their own personal time and personal self-care, leading to significant overwhelm. So let's talk about tips specifically for sandwich caregivers. I want to talk about some common tips that you'll probably hear a lot if you're ever searching for information on how to cope with caregiving as a sandwich caregiver. But I'm personally at the end going to share 3 tips that don't get talked about a lot, but I hear a lot from working with thousands of sandwich caregivers. So don't miss that. So first, let's talk about some of the common tips. Number one, check to see if your employer offers an employee assistance program to help you through some of the challenges of caregiving. They might offer traditional talk therapy, individual therapy, group therapy, emotional support. They might also offer stipends to help you with certain caregiving expenses. As the population continues to age, more and more employers are starting to work in caregiver support programs into their employee assistance programs. So it's something worth checking into. Number two, check into in-home support services. Now, obviously, when we think about in-home support services for dementia care in particular, we often think about the hands-on care and supervision for our loved one with dementia. However, I would strongly encourage you to also consider other forms of support services in the home, such as meal delivery options or housekeeping services. This can help free up some of the responsibility on the caregiver, on you. Number 3, consider respite care. This can be the more formal type where a professional caregiver or agency comes into the home and cares for your loved one, or where your loved one maybe goes to a facility and gets some professional care so that you can do whatever you need to do or whatever you want to do during that time. However, I'd also encourage you to think about more informal respite care as well. This can come from other siblings, other family members, neighbors, church members, where they can come and sit with your loved one or even take your loved one out just to give you a few hours a week for you to do anything you want to do besides caregiving for your elderly parent. This leads me to the next tip, which is a really obvious one. It's a pretty simple one, but it's extremely difficult for many caregivers. And that is simply to ask for help. We have to ask the community around us for help. And if you are in the Care Collective program, this is probably a wonderful time for you to go into your bonus area and rewatch the Help That Actually Helps program, which will not only walk you through how to ask for help when you are extremely nervous or uncomfortable asking for help, it will help you identify and increase ways you can ask for help, even if right now you don't think you have anybody that you can ask. Number 5, be proactive. If you're caring for a parent with dementia, then you know the dementia is going to progress. It's going to get worse, and the amount of help your parent is going to need is going to increase with time. So start thinking about your future plans through those stages. You might want to talk to their doctor, a social worker, even an elder law attorney to help you best plan for that future. And in fact, if you are a Care Collective member, I'd encourage you to bring up a question like that to our expert elder law attorney who comes in and answers the questions that you have. Asking them how to best plan, even financially and legally, for the future with your loved one is a great place to start. Now, let's talk about 3 of the most important tips from my point of view, having worked with thousands of sandwich generation caregivers. Number 1 is going to be keep an open line of communication with your spouse or partner. If you happen to be in a serious relationship or married to somebody and you're caring for an aging parent and raising kids, then absolutely this is going to put a strain on your marriage or relationship, no doubt, but get ahead of it. Have open communication with your partner, letting them know how you are doing, how they can best support you, and be open to hearing when they bring up their concerns about you, because they're often going to notice when you are being spread extremely thin. They are going to notice when your stress levels are going extremely high. They are probably going to want to offer some solutions and ways to help. Just recognize it as them truly caring about you, loving you, and wanting to help you. Do not let being a sandwich caregiver tear your relationship apart. You might want to consider talking about signs that would suggest there needs to be a major change in the caregiving situation. Like, what would they notice about you that's changed that would suggest, okay, we might not be able to keep doing this. So bottom line, open line of communication that you and your partner, no matter what, come together and talk about, and making sure that you stick together through this process rather than letting it tear you guys apart. Number 2, because you are a sandwich caregiver, it means that you have children. Consider if your children are at the age where they know something is strange, something's going on with grandma or grandpa, they notice something's different with you, they notice or feel your level of stress. Talk to your children about what is going on. You can use your discretion in terms of how much detail you share, but letting them know that their grandparent has some sort of condition that is requiring a lot of help and attention, and sometimes might make them say or do things that don't quite seem normal or that might be scary, is something important to do and share with your children. They're going to notice what's happening. Keep an open dialogue with them about it. And number 3, keep an open line of communication with any siblings that you may have. I know for me, this is extremely important, even if they are long distance. Don't let this tear apart the relationship you have with your siblings as well. Typically, when it comes to an adult child caring for a parent, there tends to be one sibling that really takes on the majority of the caregiving. In my situation, it's me. I'm not a sandwich caregiver because I don't have children. However, do most of the caregiving for my dad. Both of my siblings live out of state, but I update my siblings on what's going on with my dad. And I know that when they are trying to give me advice or say something, I know it's coming from a place of them wanting to help. I try to remind myself of that as much as possible. And for me, one of the most helpful things is just when my brother calls to let me know he loves me, he's thanking me for what I'm doing for my dad, he's letting me know he's there for me, he asks me what he can do, even though a lot of times there might not really be anything for him to do. The fact that he asks is really helpful. And I just let him know that. And I use my siblings when I just need to vent sometimes and say, I just need to get this off my chest, or I just need to vent, or you will never believe what I had to do today. And that's just helpful. So I will say in my particular situation, I think caregiving both first for my mom and now for my dad has actually brought me and my siblings closer together, but it has required a lot of effort on my part to work through when I get triggered, to work through when I hear comments, oh, he sounds great today, or he looked good today on the picture, but I know what's happening 24/7 and I know the amount of work that required. I don't make it mean that they don't believe me. I make it mean that like this is hard for somebody long distance to really grasp. And so that's the kind of mental work that it requires. But for me, it's worth it to keep the relationships strong with my siblings. Now, are you part of the sandwich generation? Are you caring for an elderly parent and raising children? If so, I would love to know, and I am sure so many other Careblazers out there would love to know, what tips would you share with another sandwich caregiver? Leave them in the comments below so that you can help out another Careblazer in the world. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up. It's a like on the video, and also subscribe to the channel. It is absolutely 100% totally free for you to do. It makes it more likely that YouTube will show you more of my videos. And more importantly, it makes it more likely that YouTube will put my videos in front of another caregiver out there in the world searching for answers right now and does not know where to turn. Also, if you're interested in learning more about our Care Collective program, where we give more personalized support and information, including a 24/7 library of services, support rooms, and expert Q&A sessions, there is a link below this video in the description that you can click on to learn more. You can also go to our website, www.careblazers.com, to learn more, or you can reach out to us by email, info@careblazers.com, and one of our team members will get back to you. Careblazer, there are support services for you out there. I hope this video has helped. I'm sending you so much love. Eileen, I hope this helped you. Bye.
Also, Nico gets a belly rub for every person who subscribes from this video. So if you haven't already, click the red subscribe button. It's totally free, and Nico says thank you very much.